Hello, ladies and gentle ladies. Welcome back to another railroad development stream. And today we are going to be continuing working on railroad, and more specifically, we are going to be working on rewriting some things. So, yeah, I mean, let's basically go ahead and get started. So I'm already like halfway through a big rewrite here, so we're kind of gonna shove you guys in the deep end here. But yeah, basically what's happening here is I am doing that whole UI system I talked about at the end of last stream. So more specifically, we're going to be kind of looking up elements rather than passing them down and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, in doing so, I'm also just changing some of the keybinds stuff here because it's a little bit jank. So I'm just going through and doing a couple of those bits and bobs. Hopefully Copilot can do that though. Now you will also probably notice here that we do have some new music, more specifically Minecraft music. Yeah, nothing too crazy, but that is just worth mentioning, just in case anyone notices. Yeah, that one's fine there. So yeah, fantastic. Okay, what's up here? That's fine. So yeah, let me just quickly go through these and just make sure these are all correct. They should all be correct. Yeah, so these should all be fine now. So you can see that in the Project Explorer, for example, I'm now running services.ui manager, and I'm just calling assign whilst attached, and I'm passing in the correct ID, and then just the node we're attaching, which is of course this. So I will briefly show you, these are basically all of the IDs for all of the different parts of the UI. And yeah, when we create a new part of the UI, we'll basically just add it in here as an ID, and then we just need to assign it in the constructor, and that is it. Now this system does also support temporary IDs as well. Now currently I don't actually know why we would need that, but I have added it just in case we ever want that, just to help out there. But yeah, this is basically that whole system, so all of that is fine now. And yeah, hopefully everything will be a little bit easier to work with. I am already using, for example, this system in that keybinds class. So if I quickly come back to here, you can see at the very bottom here, I just have this Project Explorer method, and this is just used to find the Project Explorer. Obviously, we could try and use this node and then try and traverse it and figure out, is this a Project Explorer? But it's just much easier if we can just call this method and boom, bada bing, we have said Project Explorer. So that's kind of what I was aiming for here. Now, yeah, I've also just extracted some of this code as well, just to clean that up, because that didn't need to be as complex as it was. A lot of this, honestly, still could do with a cleanup at some point. But yeah, we'll come back to some of those later down the line. So yeah, basically the goal, at least for the start of the stream, is going to be to go through every single one of these and just hook them up. And that should be what we need to do. So yeah, I mean, let's kind of go in order. I did Project Explorer first, but didn't really know why. Mainly, I think just because that one would require the most work out of them all. But let's go in order. So welcome pane. All we do, we come into the constructor. At the very bottom, all we can do is services.ui manager. Assign whilst attached. And we're going to say UI IDs dot welcome dot welcome. And we assign that to this. And boom, bada bing, that's done. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste this. And we're going to start doing it in all of the other ones as well. So welcome left pane. We're going to do exactly the same thing. This is the welcome left. Then we're going to go into header pane. Exactly the same thing. So this shouldn't take too long to go through all of these, and then we'll move on kind of once we've done that. So once we have done this, by the way, guys, that is the point at which we're going to have to make sure everything is using this lookup system, which currently it isn't, right? There's a lot of things that are passed down. Even here, for example, we're passing down this text field, which we shouldn't even need to do anything like that either. Whilst I'm at it, I'm also, if I see any, I'm going to try and replace unused things with underscores, where kind of possible to do so. I'm not going to go through all of them and look for that, but if I spot any and they're easy to grab onto, like these ones, then I'm just going to do that. Even if it's not entirely relevant to what we're doing today, it's relevant enough that I will pick that up. Given the opportunity. So this is the new project pane. So we do project. Here we go. And we're probably going to want to optimize all the imports after this as well, but that's okay. So this is import projects. And yeah, that's all of the welcome stuff. So then we have the docs. Now this is a bit more complicated, but we could do this from the IDE pane here. So the left pane, we can just go ahead and basically call the same thing in here. So we're going to use .ide, and we're just going to use that ID left doc. And instead of using this, we're just going to give it pane, and that achieves exactly what we want. So let's do the same for the rest as well. This will be the editor pane. Or editor doc, I should say. Okay, we're also going to need to do the get stuff, but we'll do the get stuff afterwards. This is going to be the bottom pane, so I'm going to call bottom doc. Don't really like this method generally. Let's call this create bottom pane. Editor pane is fine because that is kind of strictly for the editor. We could call it like console pane or something, but it's fine. And then also, isn't there a right pane? There should be a right pane somewhere. Left pane. Oh, right pane is currently unused. That makes sense. Yeah, in that case, for the right pane, we'll just use ID right doc like that. Is that all of these? Pretty much. We have the top bar. So let's quickly do the top bar and give that this. Okay. Here, once again, we're not going to want to pass down this Project Explorer, but we'll deal with that in a minute rather than doing that right now. And then the status bar. This is currently unused, but I've kept it here so we don't have to mess around later down the line. There we go, put that in, and that's all of those done. So let's do the get stuff. This is the stuff that's going to take a while. Honestly, might be worth getting Codex to go through and do these ones, just because there's so many and they are all going to be exactly the same change across all of them. Let's quickly do that. Save some time with me just copy pasting. I need you to assign, I'll let you guys see what I'm doing. need you to assign the UI IDs to all of the git chains that are referenced in at UI ID. And hopefully it will go through and do all of that. Meanwhile, it's doing that, we might as well just go through and do the other ones. So Gradle tools. Let's find the bottom of the constructor. Boom, bada bing. So this is going to be Gradle. This is Gradle tools, and we're going to pass in this. There we go. Okay, then we have Gradle tasks and dependencies as well. So we'll do the same in here. We'll do tasks, and we'll do dependency as well, like that. Okay, so that's all of the Gradle ones. Then we have settings. So settings has a really big constructor. Once again, something we're going to want to refactor at some point is just some of these constructors and stuff need code splitting. But right now, not a massive problem. Plugins pane is an interesting one because that's technically inside the settings pane. But I'm going to do this one anyways, just because it can be opened separately, even though it is inside of it. And then onboarding, this is very temporary, but since I have it in here, I might as well do it. So this is project onboarding and onboarding. And then we have project creation pane, which we're going to do as well. Project creation. That should maybe go in the view. I think it's fine. The other thing that we should do later down the line, of course, is... And there's some interesting stuff here. Like, for example, these should really be more generalized methods rather than in here. I actually don't know why I put those in here. That's very interesting. So like, what is this? I don't know. Some weird stuff going on in here for sure. But yeah, also like project stuff. That's going to be rewritten at some point as well anyways. So we won't overthink it. Let's see, has Codex managed to do any yet? No, not yet. So it's added all the imports in all those classes, but it hasn't actually used them yet. So you guys can see that. Oh, there we go. Just as I say. It seems to be doing that, though it does really need to go at the bottom of the constructor. It's not a massive deal. Like, it won't actually change anything, but it should really go at the bottom of the constructor. Do I care about that enough to go in there and fix it, though? Not really. Yeah, not really. Has that worked? We might need to go to... Yeah, those are all done. Okay, fantastic. So, I mean, that is all of them. So the next thing to do really is just actually make sure that everything uses this system. Now, this is going to be really hard to do, to figure out everywhere that passes things down to other things is going to be really hard, and it's going to take a while. I'm just trying to think what is the best way to do that. I say we just go top to bottom in terms of like the project structure, and just figure out where does that need to happen. Okay. So form stuff, we don't need to worry about form stuff because that's kind of more generic, right? That's fine. In that case, the first stuff then is going to be Gradle. So let's come into the tools pane here. And yeah, as I say, this is going to be really hard to figure out where we're even doing this. Let alone even writing fixes for it as well. Yeah, as I say, we're kind of going to go through things whilst we're at it and just consider this a bigger rewrite more generally. But that's not ideal long term. I mean, all of this looks fine, doesn't it? Just underscore these. Yeah, I don't know. These are tabs here. That's fine. Okay, and nothing's passed down to either of those, nor is anything passed up through any of those, so that's all okay. Just to check that all the toggle buttons, those are all fine. Okay, in that case, next one then is just to go into these. So tasks pane, for example, we don't pass anything down. And dependencies pane, we don't pass anything down or up or around. So that's it. I don't think any of these would do that either, because then we'd see it in here, which we don't. I think Gradle then is cleared in that case. Just check there's nothing hiding. Nope, that's all fine. Okay, IDE's the big one then. IDE is basically where everything is and where everything is being passed around. Now, we can ignore everything SST related because there's no UI there. Debugging Manager even, I believe, yeah, that doesn't have any UI yet. It will, of course, but it doesn't right now. This is just a settings pane. I don't think this passes anything around. I kind of have to try and remember all of this code, but I don't think it does. This should not use a label, but that's okay. We can fix that another time. I'm going to plonk a to-do in here. Use localize label. The rewriting is coming along. I mean, we've only just started, so it hasn't come super far, but it's coming along. As I said, most of this is just like SST stuff. Project Explorer. What about these dialogues here? Do any of these use anything concerning? Okay, there's a couple issues here, like these not being translated and stuff. That we can deal with another time, because once again, not that important right now. Also, like, I don't like all these bars here either. Yeah, I mean, this is yucky. Like, this all needs to be rewritten to use Window Builder. This entire templating system also needs to be rewritten to be extensible as well. We're not going to do that right now. Copy, I think, is going to be... Oh, copy does use a dialogue. That's fantastic. And delete also actually uses a dialogue. That's fine. But yeah, as it says here, this needs to use the IDE state service. That's fine as well. We can come back to that. Okay, fantastic. That was nice and easy. What's in tasks? So these are just tasks, as you would expect from the name. We can quickly do that, but that's not a big deal. And watch task as well. What's going on? That's the same. Once again, not really important, but we will do that. Just clean things up whilst we're at it. Once again, this needs to be extensible, but we can go back to that. Cut property, yep, that should be final. I don't know why that's not final. Weird one. We're going to come across some really weird code. Hope you guys know that. I was just thinking, should I replace all of the... Are any of these events actually used? Yeah, some of them are. Okay. I'm just going to find all of these. I'm going to do underscore like that. Replace. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, those ones are fine. Just a minor cleanup whilst we're there. But there are some things in here we need to move around. So what we need to move around is we need... Okay, well, first of all, these should be translated as well. This entire thing needs refactoring, but that's okay. So we need to look for where we pass things down to other things. Also, we're passing here the main pane. Why? Why are we passing the main pane? I don't know. Is it being used? It is. For what? Okay, that's fine. Yes, that's fine. We can fix that. So that'll get rid of that. And what's going on down here? Create context menu main pane. So that just recalls itself. That's fine. Okay, fantastic. So we can also then get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And what's that going to break? That's just going to break this. So we can fix those in a second. I would really like to translate all of these right now. It's also just not really relevant to what we're doing today, though, is the only concern. To do tons of localization. Sure, yeah, that's good enough for me. Okay, let's then go to the next one, which is here. Nothing here. Nothing to be concerned about in here. Okay. Next one is a comparator. Don't care. Okay, here's the big boy then. So this is going to be what we'll probably do the most for the next couple minutes. So we don't need to pass the main pane down there. We don't even need the main pane in here at all. Nor do we need that as a field. That doesn't need the main pane at all. And this does not need the main pane. Okay. So cut here takes the tree view. Does it need the tree view? This.tree view is what it's doing, so that just calls that on itself. What about here? That just does cell.getTreeView. View. What if we don't have the tree view though? But then we probably wouldn't call cut if we didn't have the tree view. So I think that's fine. We're gonna have some kind of like, we're gonna have to have some kind of copy or like clipboard manager at some point anyways, because our current system of cutting is just deleting and copying, which isn't ideal. It needs to be like a mark deleted, not delete, because otherwise you can lose stuff. For now, not worried about it. That's fine. Copy, fine. Paste, fine. I should do this. So we don't miss any other ones of those. So opening terminals, the big one here. So we can just get rid of that. That's just because this needs the main pane. I see. It doesn't need the main pane though. What we can do is just return. Like honestly, this can just go. Like that doesn't need to exist anymore. Because what we can do here is say services.ui manager, and we can just look up the what are we looking for? The IDE's bottom dock. And that's the pane. So that's fine. Okay. In that case, even we don't really need that as optional. I'm going to do that. And rename that to pane. That's cleaner. Okay, open files, the next one as well. We can get rid of that. And yeah, basically all of this can go as well, because here we only want to actually open files in that middle pane. So this just doesn't really need to exist either. Like find open tab, all of this collect tab panes. That doesn't need to exist. Tab matches path. Do we need this? I think not, right? Find open tab doesn't. Well, does that need to exist actually? Well, yes, but not quite the same as this. So this just needs to be services dot. And once again here, we really want to use some proper state. Actually, we can use the document editor state, right? Not document editor state. The IDE state, and we can get the open document. And then just stream to get the path, right? So we just filter and say, okay, does document match path, right? Document what's going on here? Yeah, that just doesn't need this. So this method really is just like is document open, or is file open. Hello Alex, welcome. Document matches path. Yeah, so all we want here is document and return document dot get path is the same as that. Okay, that's not null as well. That will just give us a boolean, and that would just be find first is present, which is going to say it can just be filtered down to any match, right? Anyway, lovely jubbly. So that's much cleaner. And then all we need to do here, like this, just doesn't need to exist. This, in fact, can just be services.ui manager, and we can look up UI IDs.ide.editor. In fact, so much so that that doesn't need to exist, and that can just be that. And then welcome tab. Yeah, we do still kind of want to know if we need to replace a welcome tab or not. So that's fine. And yeah, we still have all of these issues here, but that's not really related. We just want to fix the ones we can fix. And the other ones we can come back to at another point. This can just be is file open, normalized path. Like that. So what does this do? Oh, I see, that tries to select the tab. Well, what we can do really is just set the active editor to, or we can set active document, no? We can do services.id_state.set active document, and then we can just do what it was just a file system document, which once again we didn't really like this, but this was the way that we had to do it. And then we do have, I think, support.lang ID us in there. But that's much easier, right? That's a lot cleaner. Now we'll have to come into set active document soon, and we'll have to make that actually set that to be the active document, but once again, later. Now let's just go through these. A lot of translation needs to be done in here as well, because a lot of this was done pre-translation. Raise to Aslin. Doesn't that do the same thing? Oh no, that just does a new array list. I don't really know why I did it like that. That can just be a new array list. Oh, it can't. Oh, because it's an this is an actual array. Wait, I've put here it would produce an unmodifiable list, but why can't it be an unmodifiable list? Am I crazy, or can't it just be an unmodifiable list? Content.put files. I'm pretty sure I can. I don't know why I've done it like that. That can just be an unmodifiable list. It doesn't need to be modifiable. This breaks it from whatever. We can get that another day. Project Explorer has a lot of bugs. And yeah, those can kind of be fixed another time. Not right now. So this music, right, that's playing right now, would you believe that this is Minecraft music? I've never heard this in my life. It existed in Minecraft beta, apparently. Never heard of it, though. Final crate, that's fine. Alright. How's the warp tree? I think that's it. Okay. Then we can just get rid of that record. Okay. Going on up here. That's fine. Okay, we have a problem there, but that's fine. Okay, we can get rid of some things here. So that can go. Can't these go? Not yet, apparently. Okay. Yeah, so what this can be here is this can just be services.ui manager dot lookup UI IDs dot IDE dot editor doc, which gets rid of that. And then these other two, so that's exactly the same thing. So services UI manager lookup UI IDs dot IDE dot editor doc. Copy that and put that in. Other one right here. That is not particularly clear to me what these are. Not a fan of these. That would be a node. That would be a detachable tab pane. That's fine. Root is not even actually anymore. Go. Is scene even used here? That can go well. It is cleaner, which is nice. That also I feel like, but that's minor. There's some minor work that needs to be done in some of these files. Like all of these. To be honest, across the entire project, I could replace $, dash arrow, but not a big problem. Okay, what was I looking for up here? I don't know, to be honest. But that's fine. Yeah, we can get rid of this method now. Boom, bada bing. Get rid of that one. Boom, bada bing. And we can also get rid of this one. Nice. Okay, now IDE setup is much nicer to look at. Run configurations actually does need a UI ID as well. But I didn't put one in here. I need to do that. I'm going to put that in IDE, I think. I think that makes the most sense. UI ID. This will be of a run configurations editor pane. Like that. And all we do is this. Up, assign what attach. Oh, these dot e dot editor this. Lovely. Okay. Let's see if things are passed down here at all. Possible they could be. It could not be. They don't seem fine. This, by the way, could this not just be a localized menu item? Definitely can. I need to look for that in places I've done that in the past. But yeah, that's fine. Get rid of that. Wow. That's fine, and that's fine too. Okay, you can be an underscore. Okay. We're making big moves. We have a problem here, though. That's just because it doesn't need this anymore. The rest is okay. Are we passing anything else down to anything else, is the question here, then. So, create left pane is passing down the Project Explorer pane. Very much doesn't need to do that, though. So we can just get rid of that and get rid of that. And then just create that in here. So a new Project Explorer pane. Passing in the project and get rid of that. Okay, and then we just need to fix this IDE top bar pane. So that can get rid of that. That can go. And this can get rid of that. In here, we're going to do the same thing. Get rid of that. And then we'll just do UI manager. We'll do lookup or throw. And UI IDs dot IDE dot project. Now, we said last time that we in fact don't want that, right? We instead want here railroad.windowmanager dot get primary stage. And we also said that for the primary path here, or the directory path, I should say, that there was a better way to do that, and that was like this. And if we just look up and then say dot map and map that to Project Explorer pane get selected directory, and then we can just do or else get, and then I don't remember what we put as like a alternative, admittedly. I think it was the project. So we actually want to pass down here the project, and then we can use project dot get path. I think that was the goal here. Which does mean this needs fixing, which will be in here. That needs to just pass down the project, but that's fine because that has the project anyways. But that's okay. This causes a problem because that has the project. This will instead be a recent project. But the rest is fine. Just quickly zoom through these. Just in case. Open project dialog. Yeah, that's okay. Not ideal, but okay. Is content not automatically translated here? Yes, if that boolean is passed. I thought that was the case. Although, actually, never mind, that's irrelevant because there isn't a way to... oh, it tries to translate the content by default. Okay, in that case, we just want to pass false in. Otherwise, that was trying to translate that when that was already... that's fine. Title, I think, is automatically... Yes, it is. So that's fine. Yeah, that needs to have really an overload. I'm going to put that in here. Add a way to make the content translatable with argument. Or something. There you are, you little bugger. Saw you. Saw you as well. Let's find $. Any others? $. Oh, I'm on a regular expression. Nope. Nope. No more $. Okay. Lovely jubbly. That's that one, and then there's one here. Oh, you. Oh, that's all the issues in. Okay, and that's not a problem. Okay. And blah blah blah. So the Gradle tab here does pass in some things. Over that's open Gradle tab. Add pane, Gradle tools pane, and then it sets right to that. Yeah, menu bar, icon bar factory needs some work as well. That's okay. Because like these should also be translatable as well. And then there needs to be some kind of registry and like dynamic system taking place here. But that's okay. We can fix that another time as well. Okay, I feel like we have done a lot of it. Let's kind of move down. So I think we already went through run configs, but we'll have a look. Don't think there was anything in here that was of concern. Doubt there is of concern. That's just take Erasure. Context menu manager. Picker. That's fine. W song, by the way. Minor thing. That's what he needs that password. Hey. Nice. Let's run configurations done then. So next signature. Fine. That's fine. Okay, we have some stuff in UI here then. So yeah, get is going to be the main thing next. Code editor pane, let's quickly have a look at this, but I don't think this is an issue. No. Now, yeah, code editors need to be rewritten at some point as well. Not massively, but they just need to not take in a path. They need to take in a document. But that's fine. That's more an issue with the text editor pane anyway. So that's fine. Yeah, we're not going to go through this right now because that's not an issue. As I say, that's really an issue with text editor pane here because text editor pane doesn't use a document, it uses a file path. That honestly is probably trivial to fix though, but we'll come back to that at some point. Okay, the big one then is get. Get. Let me have a drink before we do this one. Okay. So what I remember about doing the get stuff is that pretty much all of it passes other parts of it into each other. So this is like the perfect example of where we're going to want to do this kind of abstraction. I mean, honestly, a lot of this code is a bit of a mess as it is, because Codex had its fair share of work cut out for it here. It is mostly fine though. I did a lot of fixing and reviewing myself, so yeah, there are some things like that should definitely be imported. Also, like this should be an RRH box. That's fine, it's a label. But there's just something like I need to come through here with a fine-tooth comb at some point. But until then, not too worried about it. We just want to check, see if there's any passing down of things or passing up of things. Passing up of things, it will be really hard to actually find where those are done. But we should be able to find any instances where we're passing things down. That shouldn't be a problem. Because that's just looking for doing like a new XYZ. Passing things up is more like calling like set XYZ on some arbitrary UI component. I don't think that happens often though. There's probably a handful of cases in the entire IDE where we even do that. So could be okay. Let's go through here actually. Good points. Is there anything in here to be concerned about? Because we did have that change in file item. I'm just wondering if there's anywhere else in here that does similar things. I don't think so, because I think it would have flagged up already. Yeah, we need an icon manager thing at some point. That's... yeah. It's a whole different kettle of fish. There's still a lot of work to be done with this get stuff. A lot of it was very temp. Okay, what is all of this exactly? Existing diff tab collects tab panes. Right, so what this is doing is diffs. Now, diffs, honestly, should also be text editor pane in reality, rather than being their own thing. Because currently diff tabs, basically, I don't know if I can find it. Get diff pane. It's just a border pane with a bunch of with a code area in it. Now, this could very much be a document. Like, this could use a document for the diff. By doing, like, you know, diff, some path, colon, some other path, right? Or something like that. And so this could use a document. But yeah, right now that's not relevant, but I'm just noting that, like, we're gonna have to come back to this and redo that. Until then, I don't see much point in eating this. Purely because when we have them being documents, we don't really have that issue anymore. And where is collect tab panes called? That's called here on parent, which is called on what? Which is called on root, which is scene.get root. Okay, that's disgusting. And we can fix that. That very much does not need to do that. What we can do here is we can just take that out. And this, honestly, just needs to use services dot UI manager dot lookup or throw, to be honest, and then UI IDs dot IDE dot editor doc, and then just get all of those tabs. So that gets tab panes. Actually, we don't want that. We just want to do get tabs. So in actual fact, we don't even need this loop here. Get rid of that entirely, and then just do there, which just streams over said tabs, filters them, and does it like that. Only problem is this then requires the pane, but I think we could just do tab.getPane, no? Diff tab dot get tab pane. Yeah, that looks like that, but we can return optional dot empty here. I think we can simplify this. Yeah, we can. We can just map it like that. Yeah. So then this doesn't need to exist. And does this? Wait, does this even? This, honestly, I feel like can just be a tab pane. If that just passes into tab and get tab pane. All we're actually taking from this is the tab pane, right? But look up off row, get tabs, and filter tab is instance of a diff tab. Find first. Find existing diff. But why? So we're replacing the diff tab. That isn't correct. Like, why am I doing that? That doesn't make sense, right? Get diff. Yeah, that just needs to go. I can't lie. And we need to get rid of that. And then diff tab should just be reusable. Right? So then we want to just do like that. And just make this reusable. So if we come back into here, instead of doing all of this, all we want to do, take this out. In fact, just get rid of that. And then just get rid of that. That becomes that. Right? That can go. And then we want to know, okay, does this tab pane have the existing tab? So if tab pane dot get tabs dot stream any match select tab, yeah, that's fine. And then all we need to do here is just add the tab, right? So we can create a new pane. What do you require, by the way? Project, and then file item dot change dot path. Create the tab. Set the ID. I don't think we did anything on close last time. But basically just do that. We didn't do anything on close. I'm going to check though. Actually not. What are we in right now? We're in file item. We already have 64 changed files, so I'll find file item. Oh, there it is. So previously, oh, it did do. Oh, I see. It does rebind the thing, but I don't think it needs to do that. Not really. We'll see. No, I think that's fine. Okay, that's all fine then. That's all fine. Okay, boom. File item's done. Okay, next one, root item. That's fine. Okay, next is diff. We just went through diff, right? So this we now know is all fine. Well, maybe not all fine, but the part we care about we know is fine. yeah, this code isn't perfect, admittedly. And like stuff like this needs to use the new language support as well. But that's all fine. Okay. Header pane, let's have a look. Do we pass anything down anywhere? Let's replace all of these whilst we're here. These whilst we're here. Should be fine. I remember looking at a lot of this. Underscore. That's fine because this is actually much shorter than intended. Suppose it be. Okay, fantastic. Identity pane. This should be the same. Shouldn't have problems. Once again, more quickly. Okay, that's all. This can be underscore. Okay. Probably actually check for overview pane. Nothing interesting in here. That's all fine. This one. Couple things. Underscore, but like nothing crazy. That's fine, I think, because yeah, that's got a shutdown hook anyways. That's ugly. Okay. And I actually, yeah, good. Okay, next one is remote. These should all be fine as well. I will just yes. Boom. Quick ones. What's this? Open in browser. That's yeah, that needs to use oh no, it does already do. That's fine. Handle these. 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 Nice, that's all fine. Nothing being passed down in there or whatever. Yeah, these are all going to be the same. That's just how it is. B. Last fetch text. That just sets text to a localized text. Is there a reason it does that? Oh, because it uses format elapsed there. See, yeah. That's possibly fixable. Problem for a different time. I say that. I'm probably never gonna remember that that's a problem for a different time. But Hey, at least I've said it. The important part, right? I've acknowledged that it's a problem. Bother to this, but I think it's going to be fine. I don't think there's going to be any problems actually with any of these, because I don't think I passed them down quite how I thought I did. I think I originally did, but I think I cleaned it up before everything got pushed. So in reality, there shouldn't be any issues with these. Or, you know, as I say, nothing relevant to what we're doing right now. Like, Ward underscore underscore. You. There are already some underscores in here. Must have already come through that. I think that can be. Or this is jarring to look at. There's so much code. It is very painful to not miss anything. Okay, there's lots of V boxes and H boxes in here. Those need to be RRV boxes and RH boxes. A bunch of things in here, but I mean, doesn't. But yeah, I don't see anything being passed down here either. So fine. Controls pane, we're almost there, guys. Little bit more. Go through. I'm sure I've missed some of these as well. To be honest. There is just so much. Fine. What's going on in here? This is... yeah, it's all going to be the same because it's all pretty much the same exact code. Why is that there? I don't know why that's there. That. Okay, all done. Okay, two more. That was a nice and simple one. That's always lovely. And final one of yet, anyways, is all fine. Okay, lovely. Quickly before we move on, I'm just gonna do a reformat code. I'm not gonna rearrange entries, but I'm just gonna format. There we go. And that will just also optimize the imports because a lot of the imports have changed, so it's good to just have those optimized. Okay, IDE menu factory. This one I think was fine, right? We already went through this, and I mean this just creates a bunch of menu items. Really, there isn't much to say about this. I will say, ideally though, this menu bar becomes accessible somewhere, but okay for now. That class isn't even being used. This is a problem for another time. It's the best thing I can say about this. Like, what is it? But yeah, this is very much a problem for it. Run controls paid. This is pretty big, but I don't think anything in here is problematic at all. Really, because we just don't pass anything down in it. It's very much end of the line. So I'll just do these small little cleanups. And oh. Okay. Okay. Ignored again. Ignored. I can need to really. That's not used. Right. That's all fine. This I have just noticed you. You need to be a localized menu item. Am I doing that anywhere else whilst I'm here? Actually. New menu item. The other one is. Okay. Final one then is Terminal Factory. This is an interesting class because this has gone through a lot of changes over time. But I don't think there's anything bad in here. I think this code is all decent. The only thing, this doesn't need to exist. What is, yeah, that doesn't need to exist, right? Because this, back terminals into terminals, what's terminals? Oh, that just goes through all windows. I see, because yeah, that does need to exist then, because this just needs to look through all the terminals. Ideally, we have some kind of like terminal registry, long term. In fact, I am going to do that as a do. Create a way for terminals to live in a globally accessible list, so we don't have to try and them in the sea, because that's not ideal. Get all of these. Okay. Good stuff. Jason stuff. Okay, console pane, nothing to say about that. Diagnostic pane, probably not anything to say about that either. I hate that that is not called diag. Okay. That needs to be translated, but once again, issue for another time. IDE pane, we've already been through that. We know that's fine. Status bar, fine. And top pane, we know that's fine. Welcome pane, I doubt has any problems. It's very much localized to itself. There are some issues in here with H boxes, but pretty much fine. Image viewer honestly needs to be completely rewritten from scratch. That's a thing for another time. That's gonna be horrid. But okay, that's a thing for another time. Resolve system models, that's old. That shouldn't even be in here anymore. I don't. Oh, I see why that's there. Yeah, this is old, but okay, not really relevant to what we're looking at today. Yeah, everything's in fine. That takes in stuffs. This should all be fine too. Language ID here isn't used. Okay, that's the case. Yeah, I need to figure out JSON schemas at some point, but that's, well, they are figured out, but you need to find a better way to like us. once again, problem for another time. Yeah, all the markdown stuff I doubt has any problems. We will quickly just do the $sign placements. But this, all of Alex's code should be okay. It's only a lot of my old shitty code that we're gonna have any problems with. Briefly clean a couple things up in here. These I don't really like these, but that's okay. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, as I say, shouldn't really be anything get hidden. Yep. Well, that's not ideal, but that's the underscores. And the rest is lovely. Java shouldn't be anything in there because that's UI. That's fine. UI plugins pane. Let's have a quick look at plugins. Once again, I don't think this should have any issues. Yeah, other than underscore. It is really just underscores that we're fixing today, it turns out. Which is so silly, but you know, whilst we're going through all these things, we might as well, is how I see it. So a couple things in here that need to be RRB boxes. RR stack pane, grid pane. But plugins need to be rewritten, so this is not going to put too much effort into this one. This is a big one with the plugin system. That's fine. Projects. Okay, we have like the creation pipelines and stuff. I don't see there being any issues with this though. Purely just because they don't reference anything else. This is very segregated from everything else. We could possibly have a look at the final UI part, basically like the ending part. Basic onboarding UI. I mean, this is well enough abstracted that, yeah, as I say, we shouldn't have any problems with this because it is just so heavily abstracted. Yeah, I don't see. I mean, I'm briefly gonna go through just to see if there's any. This will be the big boy if there's anything in here. No, there's nothing. There's a single underscore, but nothing in terms of what we're looking for here. Onboarding section, onboarding UI, nothing. Onboarding process could be. There's some $signs. At some point, I'm just going to have to go through the entire project and do the $sign refactoring, but that's okay. These are yeah, a lot of this needs to be refactored, but once again, not really relevant. Step, what do we have in here? Anything? No, because that's all generic. Yeah, everything here is really well abstracted, I will admit. I will be the one to admit that this is all pretty good code. It's not perfect code, but it's decent code. And there isn't any major UI issue that will crop up here. I don't think there's anything. Just have a quick look in creation, because creation is a little bit different. Creation might pass things down. We have a view that takes in the data, but once again, apart from that, I mean, this is where it actually opens the IDE. Just creates a new project and opens it. I mean, return to welcome, does what you would expect it to do. There's no problem in here. Underscore. Go on, I'll change the single underscore. Well, there's also this duration, but that might be because of... Yeah, that's because of JavaFX duration, but in the same file. Yeah, a couple things here are a little mucky, I will admit, like that being on the same line. Don't like that, but I've changed a lot of my formatting stances over the time. So there's some things I used to do that I'm not a fan of it. So not necessarily that I wrote it poorly. I just wrote it differently to how I currently consider clean code to be. Okay, all of that's fine then. So what's next? Registry, nothing in there. Settings. I would be surprised if anything in here references other files, but maybe it does. We'll quickly go through, I guess. But I would be very surprised. If anything in any of these settings files were to reference another part of the UI, because they're not meant to do that. These are very much like back-end things, and so they shouldn't be messing with any other part of the front end. But we will quickly look just in case. I doubt it. Settings pane, if any of them, will be the one. But I don't see this being a problem either. But that's okay already. Some formatting issues. I need to set up a proper formatter. Some point. That. Keep saying I'm going to do it and then it happen. So. But it will happen eventually. Okay. All those are fine. Terminal font, fine. And then this is... Yeah, fine as well. Lovely jubblies. Okay, settings, those are all fine. Switchboard, that's back end. Theme. There is a little bit of UI in here, but I would be astonished if any of this references any other part of the UI, because this is very much meant to be segregated. That's the entire purpose of this UI, is that it is so segregated. Couple little things which we can fix, but yeah, as I said, that's well enough. this should be the same. Yeah, and to be honest, the buttons shouldn't even have actions in a lot of these, so there isn't going to be underscore renames either. That can be static. Yes, I would. That also needs to be formatted. Don't know why it was like that. You have you, which we fix as well. Okay, that's interesting. Is that... Oh, this creates the dialogue. Oh, that's not great. To do refactor this as creating the dialogue in the constructor is disgusting. Yuck. Disgusting. Settings section, yeah, I think I already need. Responsive design, yeah, sure. I will just briefly go through and fix these. Hit that. Wasn't. This is a new class, by the way, guys. If anyone's been looking through Railroad and hasn't seen this before, I doubt that would be the case, but this is a very new class. This is just to fix a couple of the responsive issues that were previously media queries. Don't know why they were media queries, but yeah, now they're just in Java itself because JavaFX doesn't support media queries. But anyways, we are off track. What's going on in here? Anything exciting? Doubt it. I don't even know why I'm looking for it, to be honest, because it's not UI related. Okay, all of this UI stuff. Let's briefly have a look, but there shouldn't be anything. No, because these should all just be generic components. They shouldn't, like, reference specific parts of the UI. Which means they're just not relevant. Like, project list out is maybe the only one here. But we can see that nothing's passed into the constructor. And if nothing's passed into the constructor, then we know that most likely it's not going to be reaching out other things, which it shouldn't do anyways, because it should just be setting things or adding things, not actually editing things. That's okay. That's all okay. What is this, by the way? Oh, I see. This is the thing made by that one guy. Yeah, which I thought he was going to do for everything, but he didn't. So whatever. Utility, that's, as the name would suggest, nothing UI related. VCS, there might be a thing in here. Most of this should just be like the Git implementation, but I think there might be the actual Git configuration UI somewhere. No? That should be a thing. I just don't know where that is, actually. Maybe not. Oh, there's Git setting. No, that's just the actual, like, configuration set. Identity? No, that's unrelated. Profile type? Yeah, that's fine. That should use equals and code and toString, but that's okay. Welcome. Okay, let's briefly go through welcome. Once again, though, shouldn't be anything. Pretty sure there will not be anything. Because this doesn't, once again, doesn't interface with the UI at all. There doesn't need to be anything in here. This is not ideal. This needs to use Window Builder. I don't know why it doesn't use Window Builder. Wait, when is this stage closed? Is that on close request? Cancel. But when? Exceptionally show error. Stage got shown. Wait. Question. When? There's a lot of stuff going on in here, though. I didn't remember this being so big, I will say. But I still don't think it's gonna fuck anything up. By the way, all the changes I'm making right now are gonna be really hard to test. I'll be honest, they're not gonna get tested one by one. We're just gonna boot it up, see if there's anything visibly wrong, like at a quick glance, and then that's it. We're not going through every part of the UI to check. So we're just gonna pray and hope, and if not, someone will come across it in the future and point it out in an issue. But I'm not going to spend ages checking all of this because it is a massive refactor. Now I did, but maybe just do the underscore shenanigan. Do that in here, by the way. Project type cell, nothing in there. Yeah, that honestly just needs to go. I don't know why that still exists, even. Does that not already exist, actually, in here? List cell? Localized list cell? Yes, it does. But this just doesn't even need to exist anymore. Bye-bye. Okay, fantastic. So, project details pane, fine. Project type pane. Already looked through that. We've already looked through, I think, all of this stuff, right? Apparently not. Well, since we're in here, we might as well go through it. It's very boring, not exciting. But once again, thing for another time. We changed. Don't know why that wasn't. Oh, we were actually already gone through that. Okay. Then the final thing is just Windows stuff, which is fine. I think that's everything, guys. Holy crap. That was a long one. How long have we been live for? Hour 40 minutes. How many files have we changed? 86 files. Look at this, guys. 86 of them. Oh, we have some issues. Hello. Okay, border pane, that just needs to go. That just needs to... Honestly, this needs to go. Like, that's just not a thing. Yeah, we will have something like that, but that's not here nor there. Yeah, have we not? Did we not like open this class? I find that very interesting that we didn't come across this one. We must have missed that class. That makes me wonder how many other classes did we miss. I don't know. Probably some. Okay, let's run it. And then hopefully everything will work. I don't see anything not working. But we'll have a look. So what do we actually want to test here? We want to check that opening files puts them in the middle tab. And the opening git diffs puts them in the git diff tab. That's basically it. That's all that we have actually like functionally changed. Yeah, like this, that just doesn't need to exist, to be honest. Neither does that. Okay, first of all, let's see if we can still replace this welcome window. Or welcome. Don't see why not, but maybe. Git ignore. Fantastic, that goes in there. Okay, so every single file that we ever open should now open in this middle bit. That will now always be the case, which is an important factor. That's very handy. Okay, in that case, let's try open a get diff of something. So like this one. Okay, that opens in the center tab. Fine, let's try and open another one. That's fine as well. We try and open this one again, it switches to that one. And that switches to that one. Let's just check that also happens in here. So if we have Gradle.properties and I don't know, git ignore and Blake.lock, and then we open Gradle.properties. That's not ideal. Okay, but apart from that, everything looks okay. So let's go package explorer pane classes, please. Hello. Oh, it's project. Thinking of Eclipse. So we're talking about opening a file in an existing like when it's already open, basically. So open file, what do? We look up if it's present, check if there's a welcome tab to replace, editor open view, port to open. That does. Okay. Active editor pane. That active editor. Editor open view to active editor. Content. Welcome tab to set content. Add tab. Yeah, so all we need to do is if the tab already exists, then just select the tab. Right? So if yeah, basically that, but also that yeah, that is it. Like that is what we're trying to do. That can be it. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here. Now what we will want to do is just quickly go to git diff pane and make sure that when we open the diff tab that it is prefixed with git diff, because if it's not, then that could obviously that's kind of a short-term solution anyways, because eventually we're going to make sure everything has documents and no problem. But tab, new tab. Oh, right, because it's not. Yeah. I'm thinking about this wrong. We need to find where git diff pane is here. So that creates a new tab. What we just need to do is say git diff. We'll say diff. Oh, that uses tab.get ID. That's probably smarter, to be fair. As like a short-term solution. Yeah, let's do that. So tab.get ID, and then we can see if tab.get ID equals path.string. Is that what we did in there? What file were we just in? File item, right? Tab.get ID equals path.toString. Yeah. Only thing I would do is make this absolute. Because otherwise that could potentially cause issues. Yeah, so here we just want to do tab, the ID, path.to. That's fine. We have all this stuff, we'll have to come back to that. Okay, let's rerun it. Okay. So let's open Railroad. Okay, let's open some files. And now if we reopen git ignore, it switches to git ignore. Okay, let's open a git one as well. So that now says diff. And if we just reopen this one, it switches to that one. We come back to here and we switch to that one. Oh, we didn't already have that one open. If we switch back to git ignore, fine, contributing, that's changelog. I'm an idiot. Contributing, and it switches to that one. Okay, fantastic. That's fine, to be honest. That's everything I wanted from this. Because, yeah, now what we can do, guys, is we can look up UI elements. We don't have to pass them around anymore. And honestly, this makes everything so much easier. There's a lot of things that were being held off on purely because this would have been such a big problem. And now that it's not, now that we can just do it like this, that's fantastic. This is also massive for plugins, because now plugins can do shit effectively. They can do whatever they want now, because they have access to all of the UI, whereas previously they didn't have access to any of the UI without some horrible janky stuffs, and without us having to code injection points. So this is pretty massive, to be honest. So let's get this committed, and then we'll go from there. So implement UI ID lookup system plus. Commit that. That's going to break any PRs that are currently open, but luckily there aren't any, so that's fine. Push. Okay, and then I'm just going to write a PR for this on GitHub. Okay. Go. Here we are. So we can now. All right, that's in my fork. So we compare and pull request. /UI ID lookups. Yeah, I mean, like, basically, what's going on here? Oh, because that's going into main. I was like, why are there so many commits there? No, that's fine. That just needs to be these. Persist open files per project state. Oh. I didn't intend for those to be included in this PR, but I guess that's fine now, because now it is. I mean that is a good thing, because otherwise that would have caused me to have to rewrite I did wonder why things looked the way they did. But okay. It's fine. It just means this isn't a single responsibility PR, which isn't great. But it is what it is. This is a or really, yeah. See, this is debatably a feature. I mean, it is a feature, but it's more of a like, I don't know. It is a feature, but it's not. Java projects don't have any projects to put on there. Okay, let's write a PR description, guys. Wait, I need to look at conventional PR. Here, conventional comment. That. I can't find. There's conventional commits, and you've got conventional comments, and then there's conventional the other one. Is it conventional branches or something? Yeah, conventional branch. I thought there was a conventional PR one, but I can't. Because there is a way you're meant to lay out PR bodies. I have to use it for work, and I can't. But there is one. Apparently you're meant to like this. This PR implements a UI IDE lookup system by having each unique pane of UI be assigned its own typed ID upon being attached to the scene and removed and the benefit of doing this is that we can access part of the UI through a global state rather than passing UI around through entire inheritance trees just to access a single button. In the game. This also significantly improves the capabilities of plugins to be able to fundamental modification to Railroad. As part of this PR, I also introduce the concept of centralizing the open/close event projects. I don't remember exactly what happened in this commit. By allowing for projects to be closed, the application shuts down, or when switching project. Related to this, PR also introduces the first implementation of a proper generalized project config, which in this case persists the previously open editor tabs and current active editor tab. Okay, that's the description, and then there's no related issues. There isn't really any screenshots. Another minor thing this PR achieves is cleaning up a lot of code, specifically with the aim of taking out unused lambda parameters and replacing them with underscores, since the switch to Java is not inherently I think that's okay for a PR description. Not too bad. It's not great. But I'm not going to spend too much time on it, because it doesn't matter. It's literally just for me. No one's going to review this PR. I'm literally going to create the PR and then merge the PR. But what I will do is by the way, this music that's playing right now, this is new Minecraft music as well? Oh yeah, this is 26.2 music. I've never heard this before either. Crazy music. I'm honestly not even going to get Copilot to review it because we know that it's fine. Yeah, feat UI, implement UI IDE lookup system. That's Good. But IDE. Yeah, this is, as I say, I'm going to be the only one. It's PR and PR. So we don't need to spend a bunch of time. Some perfect PR just doesn't need to be. So yeah, we'll just let that build on here. Which will take a hot minute. But yeah, once that's done, once that's done, I don't know. What do we do once that's done? Let's have a look at the to-dos. Since we have quite a lot of them now, and we can try and see what ones maybe we can whack out. If there's any major refactors we can do that would be of major benefit. Did you sort other security issues? No. And I do not care to do that right now. Because it's not important. We can fix this. That's a minor issue. Really, we should do this. We should do it so... really, that should even be part of this PR because we included... specifically because I chose to include... this. So I really should have done that. Also, do I have... Well, I had 2 YouTube studios. Okay, what else do we have? Because we should do that, but what else? Let's go from top to bottom. Post messages for validation errors. Yeah, that would be great. That would be fantastic, but that requires an entire toast system, and I'm not in the mood for that right now. Okay, what about this? Gradle. Support changing JDK at runtime. Yeah, that's messy. We should do that too, but yes, that's messy. What's this? Extend with more error details, e.g. exception type stack trace. Yeah, that's complicated. Yeah, we should really do this. Okay, that might be the next thing to do. Let's keep going though. Diagnostics. Okay, these are inspections, so that's fine. These should use localized labels. Yes, however, not important right now because we need to get the rest of the SST done first. There's no point changing that before the rest of the SST is sorted out. What's this? Plugins need to be able to register their own inspections, so we need to load expressions from plugin class loaders as well. Yes, and that shouldn't be too hard to do, but I'm gonna rewrite plugins first, so yes, but not right now. Okay, Project Explorer, that needs to use Window Builder. Yeah. These are all the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, these are all the same thing. We will do those, but not yet. Let's have a look through these first. Valid UUID stored, keep null to prevent an issue during execution. Yeah, something. I don't know exactly that, but use a different data type that represents a Gradle project model. Yeah, because using a path there isn't ideal, and more importantly, it could be a module, not necessarily a project. But that's, yeah, we'll come back to that. Yeah, I concur. That needs to happen as well. Probably be a JRE, though that's very not important. What's going on here? Debugging support. Don't tell me about it. Yeah, that needs to happen too. I mean, you can kind of see a trend here, guys, right? There's basically 3 big things that have issues right now, right? So we have big issues with like documents and like opening files. Like the system is not really in place for that yet. We have issues with Gradle. A lot of issues with Gradle because that was a very quick just get the system in thing. So that was just out of the way. We have some JDK issues as well, kind of related to Gradle, but not really. I'm going to bundle it in with Gradle for the sake of it. And then we have debugging, because we don't have debugging yet, right? That's not super important that like we work on that yet. I'd rather we fix things first than try and implement the entire debugging system, because the entire debugging system will be a ton of work. That will be the biggest thing in Railroad, possibly excluding the SSD, but it will be the biggest thing most likely. What's going on here? Redirect to IDE console. Yeah, so the console in the IDE needs existing. It doesn't exist, but it does need to. These are all going to just be the same. Java, what's this? Trigger ID, yeah, debugger again. JDK. Signature, detect version from project settings. Yeah, once again, that's a Java thing. That should use clamp. Is that gonna use the right one? That's a no. In that case, I'm scared. Don't touch that. SST, yeah, whatever. We don't care about SST. That's, you know, a thing for another time. What's it? Icon manager. Yeah, at some point, icon manager needs adding. That would actually be very easy. If anyone wants to come and pick that up, by the way, that is actually a very easy ticket. In reality, and I would maybe recommend, if you want to work on Railroad, a pretty good one. It's not easy peasy lemon squeezy, but it's not hard either. It's like actually a very good middle ground ticket to have that. So if you want to do that, feel free. Just maybe let me know first so we don't select cover. Hosts again. Yeah, toast needs doing. Don't just get the first round, have a better way to access the changes route. It selected changes. Preview.get children.get first. What does this do? Wait, I'm a little bit confused. What do you do? Get did SST ever do to you? SST ruined my friggin' life. SST, yeah, I wish I never even did the SST, to be honest, because it's massive. It's too big, too much going on there. Yeah. Anytime I open the SST branch, I'm like, oh my god, this is too much, and I just can't keep track of it all. So yeah. Get rollback and shelving. This is actually another great one. If anyone wants something to do in Railroad, feel free to pick up rollback and shelving. Just some basic git commands. You can't mess it up. Well, you very much could mess it up, but well, yeah, you very much could mess it up, but just don't mess it up, and then this would be a great ticket to pick up. So feel free, but once again, please tell me if you're going to do that, because probably need my assist. At least for me to give you like a vague idea of where to go. Create a way for terminals to live in a globally accessible list so we don't have to try and... Yeah, I literally made this comment today. I don't know why I'm reading it. Yes, this needs to happen. Honestly, once again, this is a very medium level ticket. If someone wants to pick this one up too, this would be pretty easy. Yeah, I would even consider this one easy, actually, rather than medium. Because all you need to have is a list of terminals. I mean, that's it. That's all you need to have, a list of terminals, and then add them when a terminal's created, and if a terminal's closed, remove them. But that is it. This is actually one of the easier tickets. I keep calling them tickets. I'll get used to work terminal, not real terminology. This is an easy issue if you want to pick it up. Feel free. Did I just do something? Okay, I just changed something. It's fine. JSON code editor, hard-coded schema. Yeah, that's a thing. The thing. That's not a medium ticket though, so I wouldn't recommend that up, and very much doing. That's a pretty tricky one if someone wants to do that. But like, you need to have experience that one, because that's pretty hard. We have the entire schema system in place, but the problem is we don't have a way to like determine what the schema is for a specific file. Really, that should be that, like, in the UI, when you open a JSON file, there'll be something like in the top right, for example, which will let you choose the schema, right? Basically, like what IntelliJ does with like selecting an SQL dialect. Basically the same thing, but that needs to be done with JSON schemas. And more specifically, this needs to be implemented in a way that it can also automatically detect a schema based on either A, the name of the file, or B, where said file is located, or a mixture of the two. Maybe that's not super hard, but it's not easy either. I would say that's probably not medium, but it's not super hard. It's like in the middle between medium and hard, I would say. If someone wants to do that, I imagine I'll end up doing that, but if someone wants to do that, feel free. I'm be honest with you guys, I'm saying all this, I'm gonna be the one to do all of them probably, because I I doubt anyone's gonna pick up any of these, but if you do, that would be greatly appreciated, is what I'm trying to say. Recent file added. This is another... This is one of the easiest things that needs doing right now. I can't lie. If not the easiest thing that needs doing. So, feel free... If someone wants to come and do this, you know, you've got 5 minutes worth of work on your hands for a free open source contribution. That's always worth taking. What's this? This needs to load from any plugin identifier or railroad rather than only railroad. Oh, I see. Yes, because plugins currently only look... You have to put the lang inside assets railroad, not assets plugin ID, which is really weird. But we can't fix this right now because I need to rewrite the plugin system. So don't worry about that. That's not doable right now. Use question mark extents document. That's super easy. I will probably do that though at some point because that's just so easy. I could pick that up whenever I have like 2 time. So that's an easy. Could set value on a string property for I18 NR. Set value on a string property. Oh, I see. Because currently what this does is it just does update message on the task. But ideally what we need to have in here is a string property. We update the string property both here and here. And then that will then pull update message and add it to the log. That's not too hard if someone wants to do that, but it's also very much not a priority. Asset detector. Set source file. What does that mean? Oh, like the source file of the Gradle. That's pretty easy if someone wants to do that. Come back and figure out what the data it should store. Yeah. Assets might just be yoinked, to be honest, but sure. These need replacing. Yeah, if someone wants to try and figure that out, feel free. I tried. I couldn't figure out what you replaced them with. But maybe someone knows. You know, if you know Maven stuff, maybe you know how to replace these. I don't know anything about Maven, so I don't. But yeah, that's worth if you want to do that. That needs to, yeah, that's once again a Java thing. Consider holding some kind of known checksums, for example, mods. Ooh. Over time, I think I've changed my mind on this. This, I mean, we're gonna rewrite how templates work anyways. So we'll probably just host our own templates and actually just not even use the example mods. So this isn't really a thing that we will do. I mean, we will hold a checksums for our own example templates, of course, but yeah, that's like yes, but not for this. That's fine. We'll kind of come back to that in the future when I rewrite that system. That's going to be a ton of work. So, and it requires a lot of SST stuff as well, which aren't in place yet. What's this? Make sure this list will always pick a newer, closest version if it exists, rather than an old one. Yeah, to be honest, resolving the Minecraft version just needs to be completely rewritten, and we need to come up with a better way to do that. Because it generally works, but it has edge cases, and we can either hard code those edge cases or write it so they're not a thing. But yeah, I haven't quite figured out the best way to do that yet. Maybe try and pass. Unsure what's the best way to handle. Yeah. So the issue here is that the fabric mod.json has, I think there's currently two schema versions, and we're only handling the latest one. We don't do anything about older schema versions, and more importantly, we don't have any handling for if a new schema version were to ever exist. Ideally, we should, though. As I've kind of put in the comment here, I just don't really know how to deal with that. So yeah, I just haven't. But like, once again, when we redo the project system, that might not be an issue anyway. So we'll kind of come back to that. Burn for Neoforge. Yeah, I just don't know anything about Neoforge, to be honest. So I don't know if these are the correct fields that Neoforge has. Neoforge needs doing because it just like it doesn't really exist. But like, once again, that will be done when this is all rewritten. So get rid of this and remove the custom license. Yes, I concur, but that's a whole thing. Provide option for GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket initialization. kind of. Basically, this is more so saying that plugins need to be able to deal with it. Because GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket are not Railroad. We don't deal with those in Railroad. So that actually needs to be something that plugins can hook into. So then we can have the GitHub plugin hook in when we later implement GitLab and Bitbucket or Codeberg or whatever. Those will also go in here, but the plugins need to do that. So, yeah, not quite what this to-do says, but that's okay. Forge, let's have a look. Make it so display yes on client side only shown for versions that support it. Yes, we need to have some kind of version aware system for this. Fix the convoy boxes not being immediately populated instead of having the data effects completely async. Yeah, that's needs to be figured out. That needs to have some like caching. Drink. Yeah, so this is just I mean, this actually might be fine now. I don't think I have looked at these to-dos since Switchboard, so now that we have Switchboard, these may not be an issue anymore. But I would have to test that and find out. What's NeoForge? It will be exactly the same. Yep. Project validators. Yeah, some of these need to go elsewhere. Do not validate if the directory is empty because we're going to create a new directory inside of it. Yes, that's also true. But more so what this should do is it should check, are all directories in this directory empty, rather than just, is this directory empty? But yeah, that's fine. We need to switch up path or document identity. Yes, we do. More so, I just need to merge that in. Because I was working on that. Maven build support, yes. However, really what needs to happen here is I need to rewrite a little bit how build systems work, because currently we are hard coding things like Gradle. When in reality, Gradle shouldn't be mentioned in here. We should just have a build system. Because, you know, if we ever decide to open projects that are not Java, for example, then we're not going to have the concept of Gradle. So Gradle just shouldn't be in there. We shouldn't be referencing Gradle. We should just have a build system. That will require a ton of refactoring though. Because currently we very explicitly mention Gradle in a lot of places. So that will be a problem. Settings pane, what's this? Temporary until we add a decoration system. Yes, settings needs some kind of decorations system. But once again, that's a ton of work. Very doable. It's just figuring out like how do we define that you want to add a decoration here or here or here. So yes, but also painful. I handled this by figuring out what build versions are for. Yeah, I don't. Fabric does have build versions, and I don't know what they are. I haven't looked into them, to be honest. So need to figure that one out. Themes. What's this? We factored this as creating that. Yeah, we went through this today, so this just needs to not create the dialogue in the constructor and instead have some kind of additional method that we call on this class that creates that, like an open method or something. Put that in there. That would be trivial to do if someone wants to do that. But yeah, that's a very small thing. This doesn't work, everything explodes. Yeah, it does. If we call reload all, everything breaks. Absolutely everything. Like pretty much everything just just breaks. I don't know why. I haven't looked into it since I made that comment, hence that comment is there. But yeah, that's a problem. What else do we have? Layouts. Yeah, layouts currently are not saved. Like we don't save a layout when you restart the IDE. But yet we have this entire layout system added. It's just not ideal because like it hard codes things, and it, you know, it's not viable long term. So something needs to be figured out there. And like here, yeah, things aren't handled properly. The problem is we're using like a proprietary format here. Long term, that's not ideal. Like it should just use like XML or something. But I decided, oh, it'd be fun if I made a proprietary format. And then yeah, here we are. So that's a messy one. That is just this. Honestly, layout system just needs to be nuked, like boom, and then just make a new one. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that anytime soon. What's this? Fuzzy search. Yeah, because it doesn't take into account the uniqueness, and it probably should, but fine. What's this? Handle cases where the value might contain equals. Yeah, because if you had like you know, my n equals like ABC underscore blah 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 equals blah blah blah, then that wouldn't work because it would split it twice. So you would have this, and then you would have this, and this would just be discarded. So that needs to be fixed. That's very easy. Apparently the exact same issue here. I don't know why those exist twice. That needs to probably be cleaned up as well. What's going on here? Add a small file system cache for detected repositories to avoid repeated GET calls. Yeah, that needs to happen because currently it absolutely spams GET, which isn't a problem because almost all of the commands it runs are local, but it's not ideal because it's a lot of file system operations, and it's a fair amount of CPU processing as well. So that needs to have some kind of cache so it's not constant just spamming that. And then yeah, this needs to integrate the use of IDE tasks, which speaking of, we need an IDE task system, but that's a pretty big system. Yet allow passing listeners from higher up. Yeah, ideally, like when you call commit changes, you should be able to pass in a listener, and that should come in into here. But small, it's minor. Like that's not needed right now. That's fine because that will actually probably never exist. Like this to do, I mean, maybe, but I don't see this actually ever existing because I don't know. We'll see. What's this? Add a way to make the... Yeah, we added this to do earlier. Well, that's all of the to-dos in all of Railroad, guys. So if anyone wants to pick one up, please feel free. And please tell me if you're going to do so as well. So that, as I say, we don't clash with things. I will say I am putting more time into Industrial at the moment than Railroad. So it's less likely that we would clash, but it's a non-zero chance, so yeah, I would just say let me know want to do something like that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we should end the stream here because we can't do any of these right now. And we've done a lot today. We have done a lot today. In fact, let's finish up by merging the PR. Here we go. I'm just also going to put the... Oh, I can't. Usually you can put like a tag on it. Regardless, let's squash. And hopefully... Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to... I kind of want to... Yeah. Squash and merge. Boom. Let's delete branch. Lovely. That is it. All right. Well, that is it for this stream, guys. I hope you all enjoyed, even though it was just some refactoring. It wasn't anything exciting. We will be doing another Industria stream very soon. Don't worry, Industria has not gone anywhere. We will probably have an Industria stream tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I said I wasn't sure if I was going to stream today because it's quite hot, but honestly, it's not that hot. It's like, let's see, how hot is it right now? Supposedly 21, but it's probably like 25 in my room. It's not that hot. So it'll be even cooler tomorrow because it'll be raining. Right now. So yeah, I will probably be live again tomorrow, and we'll do some Industria, and then we'll come back to Railroad again at some point. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next stream. Goodbye.